Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. Well, we survived another one. We had a hurricane that turned into a tropical storm, hit us again. This one was actually a little bit worse than Florence, for me anyway. Guess it depends on where you live in Colombia as to how much wind you got both times, but even though this went through a lot quicker, it was a little bit more intense for us. So I had more trash, more limbs come down, beating on the top of my roof. So it was a little bit more intense, but we survived it, and it was up and out. I thought it was gone earlier today. You guys, what was it, around 10:30 or so? I was like, man, it stopped. So I should be back up and running after lunch. But come to find out, it was just kind of the eye of the storm. The center of circulation was over us, so there was no wind or rain or anything. But once it passed, it wasn't long before the wind started kicking up, and it knocked the power out again. So it was like, it's crazy. But I did have my mobile set up. I had it where I could stream, at least stream the scans all day and have the room up. So, that worked out pretty good. But I didn't have it, all of my monitors. I couldn't look at the market. I couldn't look at everything as a whole. But I did take one trade that I told you guys about. Most of the people were gone by the time, I got back in there. But you guys heard me or, saw what I was talking about with TVIX, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But glad to get that out of the way. And, even though it's Friday, things should be back to normal. Maybe we can have another day. I've been really frustrated these last 2 days because I missed some of the best profit potential, dealing with this storm and the power going out and, flickering and knocking the internet out for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's just been really irritating. But the question that a lot of my long bias traders have been asking me, they've just been bombing me out. How am I supposed to make money in this market with the market selling off? And everybody's panicking that hasn't really experienced something like this before. But it's healthy. It's what we need. And I really think this is the big reason why we had the summer that we did, because we never really had a healthy pullback. We did have a little sell-off, what was it, sometime between June and July, but that really wasn't big. We didn't make a lower low on that pullback. It wasn't much. And it didn't really bring any volatility in. But the last 2 days, we've seen a big spike in, the volatility. So this is really what we need, especially going into earnings. I'm really, really excited about it. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here on the SPY. Now, honestly, I wasn't prepared for this. Had I been prepared for this, we could have made a ton of money on it. My thought was we were going to pull back. At first, I thought we were going to bounce off the 20. When we lost it, I'm saying, oh, okay, we're just going to, pull back here to the 50. And we were kind of holding it, and I thought we were going to, bounce off of this. And then yesterday, all hell broke loose. I really wasn't expecting this. And then, before I could really position myself, my power went out and I was pretty much done for the rest of the day. But it was really an incredible 2 days. I really wanted, for this to really make sense to me and for it to really correct or have a nice correction, we need to get back to the 260s. We need to pull back in through here, maybe down into the 250s, before I can really feel good about this correction. But, a lot of people are panicking that they really don't know what's going on. But this is normal. This is what, most of us want. And you can profit off of it. Now, someone brought it up yesterday, the TVIX. That's something that I haven't traded in over 2 years. Back in 2015, I was a 100% long bias trader. When I went on that huge run from, January to October, I was completely long biased. And, that's a good instrument when you are completely long biased, especially when you're getting the market pullbacks, with some volatility. So, and I say yesterday, it would have been a great day to trade the TVIX because of this huge volatility. So for those of you who don't know what it is, TVIX is an exchange traded note. Now you've heard of ETFs. This is an ETN, or an exchange traded note. And I'll cover the difference. I'm going to do a complete lesson on this this coming Wednesday for our weekly educational webinar in the chat. I'm going to do a complete lesson on this so you guys can really understand where I'm coming from. But today it's just going to be kind of a quick, I like things easy and simple. And, that's how I'm going to put it. So it's an exchange trade note. And, unlike it's, for the most part, it trades like a stock, but it's not actually a stock. Owning it doesn't give you a share of a company. There are no sales. It doesn't report earnings, a P&E ratio. It doesn't do anything about that. You don't do any fundamental analysis on this. You don't do any technical analysis on it. Because this isn't driven by supply and demand. This is completely driven by the S&P VIX short-term futures index, or S&P, 500, however you want to look at it. But it derives its value from the S&P VIX short-term futures. That's what it's based on. Which that typically follows the S&P 500. And for us, and what we look at is the spot. So for me, the way I look at this is TVIX is going to react to the spot. And it's going to do just the opposite. If the SPY is selling off, the TVIX is going up. So when we have a sell-off in the market and I'm a long bias trader, I'm going to be looking to get into TVIX. Now, yes, it's volatile. So you have to be very careful and make sure you give it enough room. If you're trading small and you're keeping your risk tolerance very small, you're more than likely going to get stopped out before you make any money in this. It's one that you have to go in with smaller size and just let this thing work. Because, what's really frustrating is, had I been able to be in the right position these last 2 days, I could have tripled or even quadrupled my small account with trading very little size and very little risk. These opportunities don't come that often, and it's really frustrating when you miss it. But this is something that you can buy it, you can short it. It trades just like the stock trades, pre-market, aftermarket, You know, when you get the SPY selling off after market, sometimes you get a lot of professional traders that are trading the VIX. You know, they just buy it, and they're making money off of it. The liquidity is excellent. It trades between 30 and 40 million shares a day, I believe. The last time I looked, I don't know where it is now. But the spread is also very, very tight. You know, everything that we look for in day trading, you know, is right here. But it doesn't give these huge moves every day. You know, the market has to be going through a big sell-off or a big run-up, if you want to short this, in order to not get caught scalping this. But yeah, there are traders, just like there are professional traders that trade Apple every day, that trade Bye-Bye every day, that trade Netflix every day. There are traders that trade this volatility index every day. You know, it's part of just what they do every day. They come in and say, okay, the market, I believe, is going to close down. They position themselves, and you know, they let the market do the work for them. But like I said, we will talk a little bit more about this. Well, a lot more about this on Wednesday, so you'll, you know, really understand. And I don't talk about these a lot because, you know, I'm a big proponent in building a foundation. You know, and I'm a big proponent of, you know, crawl, walk, run, then fly. You know, I really, really believe you have to build a base, a foundation in trading. I mean, it's just like my computer. Or, you know, you have a computer. Let's say you install something and it just screws up everything. And the only way you can fix it is to restore the computer back to this restore point that you established earlier. What we're doing when you first start building up your trading skills, you're establishing a restore point so that if you ever get lost, if you ever get to the point where you just get completely turned upside down, you can go back to your restore point and start over again. If you don't have that restore point, you will be completely lost, and you may not ever come back from it. So that's why it's so important. And no, you don't hear a lot of people talk about it because they probably have it and don't even know they have it. You know, they're so far detached from when they first started that they don't realize, hey, if I get completely lost, I always have this point I can go back to. And it's where they started trading, learning how to trade, trading small, and building themselves up. You know, and I was talking to a trader today and, you know, trying to get them to understand. This is the hardest thing for me to get traders to understand. You know, big deal, you made $800 today. But what have you done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Okay, let's see, where are you for the week? You've lost $1,500 over the last 3 days. You made $800 today. Okay, so if you stop now, where are you going to be for the end of the week? You're going to be negative. Now, if you had taken smaller size, focused, you may be and made anywhere from $50 to $100 a day. You're going to end the week green. You may end the week green $300 or $400. You know, big deal, you didn't make an $800 trade. You know, and that's where a lot of people get screwed up. They get so excited and pumped about making these huge dollar trades that's all they want to do. And the market is not there for that every day. Plus, you want to develop skills so that you can fall back on it. If something happens and you lose all your money and you only have a couple $1,000s left, you could come back and grow that because you know the process. You know you can do it. You know what you have to do to grow it. And you know that once you get there, you're going to be able to continue to grow. And I'm not saying you have to stay here. I don't want you to stay trading small. You got to prove it to yourself that you can make $50 to $100 a day consistently before you start bumping up your position size. As you bump your position size up, you're gonna make more money. And if you do it systematically and follow the process, you're gonna be making money before you know it. That's what I did. That's what I teach. The traders that have been able to follow it and develop the right patience and discipline, they're on their own and they're doing it. So, I'm not trying to keep you down. I'm trying to show you this is where you need to start. This is the foundation you got to build up so that you can get to the next level. All right, so today, and like I said, if you were in chat, you heard me talk about, if the SPY gets below the 200 again, that I'm going to jump all over it. If it rejects the 200 or whatever, I was going to jump all over it. And let me get the spot. Here's where it was. If we were going to make a lower low, then here's the big sell-off. I missed that. I wasn't able to trade at this point. And it kind of worked its way back up. And I said, if we fail this again, I want to jump all over this VIX and try to hold it, TVIX, and hold it to the end of the day. And, so that's exactly what happened. Once we cleared that, I was able to get in it, even though, it started to pull back as soon as I got in. That's classic Ed trades here. It just goes the other way. But, it did pull back, and it held this support. It pushed up, it pulled back, and my first target was going to be 44, and that's what it hit. But my final target, and where I thought we would probably hit toward the end of the day, not at 3 o'clock. I figured it would be closer to 4, 3:30 to 4, when it hit this, and then it would pull back. So because I couldn't manage this and watch it, this was just on autopilot. I had my stop set, and then I had my target. I went in and put this target in, and this was my final target. But I 100% expected this, that once it got here, that we would start to pull back, because, that's kind of where we will be hitting support on the SPY. So I wasn't looking at this so much. Remember what I told you. You can't use technical analysis so much on this. I was using technical analysis on the SPY. And I use the 5-minute chart, and I use the 1-minute chart. Now, I don't use the 1-minute chart on anything else. But in this case, I'm watching the 1-minute chart because I need to know the way this thing moves. I need to know if the wind is shifting before it actually does. And the only way to see that is watching a smaller time frame. And this is, like I said, it can get very volatile. You can see exactly what this thing did. If you were watching this and you had your scanners on, and poor trade ideas couldn't even keep up. It couldn't even keep up. It was just calling out stuff. My son came up and wanted to know what was going on. He was like, how can you stand that? But it was just going crazy. And I was kind of going crazy with it because I missed this whole move. I missed this whole move because I was anticipating it to pull back on the SPY. It didn't, and I never got back in and missed it. Like I said, I could have made a ton of money yesterday. I could have made a ton of money today if I had been in this situation. But if tomorrow, if we get some mad selling tomorrow, I will show you, I'll bring it up in chat and we'll stream it, and I'll show you exactly, how I manage this. I'm using, I'm watching the 5-minute chart, of course, but I'm watching that 1-minute chart because I need to know if there's a possibility that the wind is going to change and change directions, and if I need to come about, that's what I'm going to do. So that was my trade on this. Very disappointing. 12.39.30. Really could have got 2 or 3 times that. I just had no freaking idea that we were going to get this move. Now, I was going to be ready to get in it around 3:30 because I didn't have to go anywhere. I was definitely going to get in it, and I felt we were going to get a stronger bounce, maybe into close. But it just came too early, and I wasn't touching it. Here would have been a nice, entry again off of the 50, but I was done. At this point I was mad, and I learned a long time ago, don't trade mad, because if you do, you do stupid things. So I didn't do it. So that was that. That was today. So, okay, we looked at this. There was something else. Oh, I got a couple of emails from you guys that were on the live stream. You were wanting to know what happened with YGYI. You saw the first cover. I took the rest of it off. Here. Well, I took some off here. I don't have the last cover on. Dadgummit, I cut it off. But then here's where you saw me take profit here, and it actually recovered. We did pull down, but we didn't quite get to 8, and we made a higher low here. And once we started grinding, I knew that was it, so I went ahead and covered the rest. But that wasn't bad. Holding 100 shares overnight. It wasn't what I wanted, wasn't what I expected. I thought we were going to go back to where we came from. I didn't expect it to recover like this yesterday, but it did. But that wasn't bad. And I didn't get a chance to, I know why I don't have this, because I did this too soon. And I wanted to get the SQ trade, but by the time I was able to get back on the computer, it was after midnight. And this stuff reset, so I couldn't get it. But SQ, I ended up getting a decent trade on it and didn't mess with it anymore. Yesterday was just a frustrating day with the power going out and me dealing with all of that crap. Me sitting in my car on my laptop so I could have my internet, because I wasn't prepared for the storm yet, here. But that's that. That's all I got for today. But you guys have a great night, and we'll get back at this thing in the morning and see if we can finish the week strong. So you guys take care, and I'll see you then.